Hi, Professor and MBA. I would like to really just go over my thoughts on this MBA program, my learning experience, and providing some recommendations. Some of the things may come off slightly harsh, but I believe that this is what is needed in order to take the students that come from the MBA program in order to make them more successful going forward. So first, let's talk about the growth that I've gone through with this program. I believe the first major point that really got to me was learning to create a business plan, and then the innovation class when we started talking about the scamper method. That was really awesome for innovation and finding new ways to do things. So I really appreciated that class. However, once that class was over, I found many of the classes and things that were a part of this program maybe weren't put forward in the best way and weren't taught to us in the best way either. I felt as if many of the professors within this program, although had an idea of what they were teaching, were really just there to guide students, not so much teach them the actual material that was in the class. When it comes to a professor simply reading word for word what's on a slide, just send me the slide, I can do that myself. I'd rather our professor using real world examples showing us how we can apply these and real world examples where it has been applied in the past. For example, one of our professors, Matt Connell, amazing professor. I think he'd be perfect for the capstone project where it's more so a guidance procedure. However, for some of the more technical stuff, we had him for an Excel class. He did not know any Excel. So I feel like that's a big game breaker right there. If our professor does not understand the content that he's trying to teach and has to learn it with us, I think there is definitely a disconnect there in which some students will get lost for sure. I remember personally, one of the first weeks when we were doing vertical and horizontal lookups on Excel, the professor had no idea how to do it, and I actually had to look up YouTube videos and send them to the rest of the class to teach them how to do the assignments. So I definitely believe having more qualifications and making sure that your professors truly understand what they're trying to teach is major for letting this program become to the next level. In terms of the project-based learning, I think that it was fantastic. I love the fact that we got to apply what we were learning into an actual project. However, many of the professors would barely look at the final projects. I remember one specifically we were supposed to present on the final day we went into class, and there was people throwing beach balls around the class. It was almost taken as if it was a joke, and I feel like that's something taken across the whole MBA program at Post in general, where maybe it's not as serious as it needs to be. As someone who wants to join the work field in the next year or now that I'm done my MBA program, I felt that the climate was not intense enough and it didn't push me in really any way. I felt it was very simple and to the point. I think that the online integration of learning was done really, really well. However, there definitely needs to be track downs on apps such as AI and ChatGPT, where I'm looking at discussion boards and it's clearly written out by every single person in a ChatGPT where they just submitted a question into there and that person gave you the answer. I felt coming from a accounting and finance background, most of the information I was learning in the MBA was simply recap. So I definitely think as a marketing concentration, I didn't get the most out of what I was trying to learn. And moving forward, also with the marketing landscape, it's turned to a completely new world of digital marketing, which isn't even touched once in this program about. I think that there needs to be much more applications into the real world. For example, with my marketing concentration, we should have been learning Google ad spend, Google bidding, Facebook and Meta ad concentration, how to create campaigns. These are things that are really applicable to real world businesses, and I feel as though they weren't taught in this program. I believe another area we could possibly improve on is maybe making the challenges to get into the program slightly harder. I thought many students were quite unmotivated to be here in the first place. So when it comes to project-based learning and things like that, and we're put into groups, you can definitely see where there's a disconnect between students that really want to take and gain something from this MBA program and students that are just here because it was really easy and simple to get their MBA because it's post. If I had to take away one major thing from this MBA program, it was learning self-learning. So how to learn myself and how to push myself without having a professor or other students push me. So for that, I'm extremely thankful with this program. But outside of that, if I'm being completely earnest and honest, which I feel like is the only way to improve this program, it was a year off. I had 2 easy classes a week where we barely had any work to do, and the work we did was very simple and was never brought to the next level due to the lack of knowledge from the professors. Thank you for listening to my reflection.